Hello! In this video I'm going to show you how to do this cute little bow embellishment. It can be added to hats. This one was added to fingerless gloves, which the full pattern, the video and everything will be in the description below. The only thing you do is at row 30 you change to the red. But for the bow itself, which you can see I made 2 of them to match, what we do is I'm just using the same loom I used to make the fingerless gloves themselves. At this point we don't need the wedges in it, so I'll put them over to the side. A row counter is optional. I typically just measure the length. Just use a tape measure and just measure the length and then go from there. But what we're going to do is, if you want them as wide as this, you can make them as wide as you want. This is cast on 6 stitches and then it's garter stitched. So what we do, I'll just put that on there somewhere. And you won't see me use an E-wrap cast on very often, but this time I do. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You want to push those down. And then you go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That's your cast on. Take your bottom loops over the top. There, and you're cast on. At this point, let me move this over here. All we are doing is the garter stitch back and forth. Which, what that is, the first row was E-wrap, so our second row, let me zoom this in some. There we go. First row was E-wrap. I'm going to take that off there so it doesn't confuse me. Second row we're going to purl. So I'm going to purl. If you're unfamiliar with the purl stitch, there's better videos to really show you, but quick, you take your hook down through the top of the loop on the peg, put the working yarn below it, then you grab that and you create a new loop. You take the old loop off and put that new loop on, and that is a purl stitch. So I'll finish out this row. And then your next row you will E-wrap. Now you'll notice I skipped the first peg of each row. That's optional. If you wrap it, you're fine, you're not wrong. If you don't wrap it, you're not wrong. That's just something I got in the habit of doing, because if you do that, if you do this right here when you're doing flat panels, they will lay flatter and they don't want to curl as much on you. So I've just kind of incorporated using that in pretty much everything I make. It's just a force of habit at this point. Okay, so there you go. You E-wrap a row, you purl a row, and you do that until, however wide you want the bow, you kind of do it double that length. So this bow is about, let me show you. Hey, this bow is like 3 inches long, about 3.5. So we'll do it around 8 inches long, and then we will cast off, which I'll show you that when it gets to it. You just do one long strip of garter stitch, one long piece about 8 inches long. Okay, now I don't think it's quite 8 inches, but I'm just doing this one as a little sample. So we got it at like 6 inches. I'm holding the tape measure up at the top. Let's see, a little bit below 6. Now what we want to do at this point is we are going to loop. We're going to do kind of like the same concept of a brim. You're going to notice you've got these loops on the end. We're going to flip this. You don't want to twist it or anything. You can pull it all the way out this way if it helps. Push those pegs down. And what we're going to do is we'll start on this end. Because you'll need to find 6 loops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which that's the one the yarn itself is coming from. We'll do the one next to it, 6. Doesn't have to be exact or anything, but there you go. You take those bottom loops over the top loops and then cut the yarn. You don't need a real long piece, but what you're going to do is you're going to take, and same concept as a pull string cast off, you're going to pull that yarn through the loop on each peg. It doesn't matter if you pull up through the bottom or if you pull down through the top. You just get the yarn through each peg, and then you just take everything off the loom. Just like that, and you just take it all off. This is what you're left with. At this point, you can just pull that tight because it's not really needed. You're going to fold this in half and then you just wrap. So you just make sure that's even on both sides, and you wrap and you wrap and you wrap until you get it as much as you want. You still have your cast on edge, so if it's not enough, you can keep wrapping some more. Then you just take these two, tie them in a knot, and then you use this string to pull it into your project and sew it in. Now there was a difference. I did this, I wanted to show you. This one I only done with 1 strand of yarn. This one right here I done with 2. So this one's a lot thicker and it's a lot fuller than what this one is. So yeah, you just tie that and you sew it into your project wherever you want it at. And you are done. Alright, thank you so much for watching. Any questions or comments, please leave in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Alright, thank you.